first rays of dawn spilled across the savannah like spilled firelight, illuminating a kingdom ruled not by law, but by instinct, legacy, and dominance. The land breathed slowly beneath a veil of golden mist. Acacia trees stretched like old guardians toward the sky, casting long-fingered shadows over the brittle grass. The winds whisper through the bush, carrying the scent of dust, death, and distant prey. Beneath this rising sun, deep within, a concealed thicket, life stirs in fragile, trembling breaths. A lioness, silent and fierce, lies curled around 3 cubs, no bigger than jackals. They are blind, damp, and utterly helpless newborn sons of a king who does not know they exist. Their world is nothing but warmth, heartbeat, and darkness too. The lioness, this moment, is sacred. Each cub is a thread in the tapestry of legacy. One of them may one day wear the crown of the savannah, but the road from breath to roar is soaked in blood. She has chosen this hidden place well, away from the pride, away from the roving eyes of hyenas, snakes, and even her own kind. In lion society, a mother's greatest enemy may be her own pride if power shifts in the wrong direction. For now, secrecy is survival. Each cub is marked by fate. One is bold and restless, squirming against his siblings for the warmth of his mother's chest. One is still and slow, his breaths labored, his movements tentative. The third, the largest, lifts his head briefly, letting out a whimper barely louder than the wind. He is strong for his age, thick-limbed, broad-faced. The lioness watches him with a glint of something ancient in her eyes. Hope. But hope is a dangerous emotion in this world. The father, a battle-scarred male named Kinjara, is unaware of the new lives he has sired. His days are spent patrolling the outer edge of the territory with his brother and coalition partner Belozi. Together, they have ruled this patch of land for 4 years, an eternity by wild standards. They are feared, admired, and increasingly challenged. Age is beginning to show in Kinjara's gait, a limp that worsens with every dusk patrol. His mane, once rich and black, is now thinned and streaked with pale gray dot. Leadership in the Lion Kingdom is not passed gently. It is torn, fought for, and held by teeth. But deep in the thicket his sons grow, unaware of the throne they may one day fight to claim. Days pass. The cubs open their eyes to a world full of light, shadow, and danger. The lioness leads them, gently and persistently, toward the pride. It is time to introduce them. But even this moment, a ritual that should be triumphant, is a test of survival. The pride watches as the cubs stumble into view. Lionesses lift their heads, sniffing. The air, one snarls softly, not at the cubs, but at the scent of a different female on them. Rivalries among lionesses can be as bitter as those among males, and just as deadly when resources are thin. Kinjara and Belozi arrive at the river bend where the pride often gathers. Their presence is like thunder across the plains, silent, but undeniable. The lioness lowers her body to the ground in submission, tail tucked. The cubs, still wobbling, approach the males with unknowing curiosity. This is the moment of judgment. If Kinjara and Belozi suspect these cubs were not sired by them, they will kill them instantly without hesitation. But instinct, or perhaps familiarity and scent, softens the edge of suspicion. Kinjara lowers his massive head and sniffs the boldest cub, the large one. With a faint scar above his left eye from a thorn encountered on his first journey from the den, the lion's nostrils flare. For a long breath, nothing moves. Then he licks the cub. Acceptance. The pride exhales in silence. In this moment, the cub earns the right to grow. But his challenges are only beginning. Days in the pride are filled with long hours of sun-drenched rest and fleeting, explosive moments of action. The cubs learn from their mothers and older siblings. They mimic the stalking postures of the lionesses. They practice pounces on each other. They grow strong, and with strength, ambition. Large cub is named in whispers by the watchers who study this pride from afar. They call him Mosi, the firstborn. Already he shows signs of leadership. He eats first among his brothers. He walks closest to the lionesses on patrol. When danger arises, a wandering hyena or a bark from the tree line, Mosi is the one who stands upright, chest forward, even if his legs tremble. But lion society does not reward potential. It rewards force. His smallest brother, leaner, quicker, more cunning, begins to challenge him in subtle ways. A paw swiped too hard, a snarl too long. When they play fight, it is this brother who goes for the throat. Even in childhood, the seeds of betrayal are planted. Mosi learns not only how to fight, but how to yield. Not every battle is worth the cost of blood. He watches his father and Balazi how they avoid conflict with cheetahs. Ignore vultures bickering over a kill, but rise to battle when other lions dare to enter their territory. Leadership is not a storm, it is a horizon, always shifting. Always dangerous, seasons change. The rains come, transforming the dust into a lush carpet of green. Wild beast and zebra return, and with them, abundance. The pride hunts with precision. The cubs grow fat, then strong, then restless. Kinjera limps more now. Balozi hunts alone some nights. The scent of challengers has been caught on the northern wind. Mosi watches it all, the changing tides, cracks in the throne. He does. Not yet understand that every sunrise now counts down toward a war that will tear his world apart. One evening, as the last light fades, the lioness who bore Mosi licks his forehead with unusual tenderness. Her eyes glimmer with something deeper than pride, perhaps fear, or memory. She once watched another cub grow strong, only to be taken in a rogue attack. Mosi, half asleep, leans into her warmth. His brother watches from the shadows, eyes unblinking. The night air cools. The stars scatter across the sky like ancestral witnesses. In the distance, a roar echoes, deep, unfamiliar, and close. It is not Kinjera. It is not bellows. It is the sound of change. The morning breaks with a hush, the grasslands blanketed in a silver veil of dew. In the early light, the lions move like shadows, graceful, silent, and dangerous. The cubs are no longer cubs. Their faces have lengthened, their paws now thunder. When they run, elk teeth have given way to ivory blades. Childhood fades quickly in the savannah. Mosi stands at the edge of the pride's resting ground, his golden eyes fixed on the horizon. Beside him, his younger brother, leaner, sharper, matches his stance. They are lions in bloom, and the bloom is edged with thorns. Their days are no longer spent nursing or tumbling at their mother's paws. They now trail behind the lionesses during hunts, not as participants, but as watchers. They memorize every movement, the silent crouch, the coordinated flanking, the timing of the charge. Every failed hunt teaches patience. Every kill teaches hierarchy. They wait their turn. It is during one such hunt that the fracture becomes visible. A wildebeest falls to the pride. Blood spills across the dry earth. The lionesses eat first. Tradition, efficiency, necessity. Then come the young males. Mosi moves in confidently, but his brother arrives at the same moment. Their shoulders touch. Neither backs down. A low growl rumbles in the silence. The lionesses watch. Kinjera, older now, scarred and weary, sits some distance away, uninterested. This is not his fight. It is their lesson. Mosi growls louder. His brother bares teeth. For a moment, it seems the bond will break. But then, with a flick of his tail, Mosi yields. He steps back and lets his brother eat first. It is a tactical retreat, not submission. Dominance in the lion world is not always about the bite. It is about timing, knowing when to wait and when to strike. Mosi watches with narrowed eyes. He is learning not just how to survive, but how to lead. Their coalition slowly forms not just the two brothers, but others too. Males from the pride, cousins, half-brothers, cluster of youth, united by blood and bound by necessity. They wrestle, play, roar in chorus, and groom each other in long, delicate sessions. To the casual observer, they are brothers in spirit, but the bond is fragile. As they approach the age of 3, the pressure builds. Testosterone surges. Every game becomes a test. Every gesture carries weight. A paw on the back. A nip too hard. A challenge held too long. Mosi emerges as a natural leader, not the loudest, but the one they follow. Is cautious, but confident. He gives ground when needed, but never forgets. And in his shadow, his younger brother seethes. Where Mosi watches and waits, the younger acts. He wants more respect, more power, more space. Their conflict simmers like heat beneath the soil. Then comes the night that changes everything. A coalition of 4 nomadic males crosses into their territory. They are younger, stronger, and desperate. Roars erupt into the night like war drums. The pride stirs. Lionesses gather their cubs. Kinjera rises, stiff and slow. Belozi snarls, mane bristling. The young males Mosi and his brothers are told to stay back, but they do not. They follow the elders into the dark. What unfolds is chaos. A whirling clash of claws and fury under a moonless sky. Dust and blood mingle. Roars are cut short by gurgling cries. Kinjara lands a savage blow, but he is overwhelmed. Belozi holds his ground until teeth. They clamp down on his spine. The old kings fall. The pride fractures. The young coalition watches from a hilltop. As their world collapses, in the days that follow, they are exiled not by force, but by fate. There is no pride left to protect them. The lionesses scatter. The cubs are gone. The invaders rule now. Mosi and his brothers become nomads overnight. Exile is a crucible. Many do not survive it. The once lush territory is now off limits. They wander the borders, feeding on scraps, hunting warthogs, and injured antelope. They sleep in open plains, exposed to the cold and the circling eyes of vultures. Hunger becomes their constant companion. So does bitterness, Moss. He leads them forward. Carefully, he avoids known territories. He chooses their paths with patience. But his brother, sharper now, challenges him more openly. He wants action, raids, confrontations, a path to glory through fire. You are too cautious, his stare seems to say, and you are reckless. Mosi's silence replies. One evening, as they approach a watering hole, they find it claimed. A lone lioness stands over a kill, her body bloodied, her growl feral. She is defending it not from them, but from jackals. The younger brother charges in. Mosi hesitates, then follows. The clash is swift. The lioness lashes out, but she is outnumbered. The younger brother lunges first, driving her off. He turns, chest heaving, victorious, but Mosi is not looking at him. He's looking at the blood on the lioness's flank. She was starving too. Masa drives off the jackals. He leaves her the kill. His brother snarls, bewildered. Weakness, his eyes accuse, but Mosi knows better. Mercy is not weakness, it is strategy. Alliances are formed not just through bloodshed, but through choice. Their coalition continues. Over the coming weeks, they gain strength. They fight together, defend each other, share kills, and yet the rift widens. The younger brother is not content to follow. He grows in stature, in boldness, in ambition. One night beneath a blood orange moon, he challenges Mosi directly, not with a roar, but with a look, a stance, a silent message. This pride we are to build. We'll not have 2 kings. The others watch. Mosi meets his gaze. They circle. The fight, when it comes, is brief but savage. Rises. Claws flash. Blood spatters the earth. They crash together in a blur of fury and history, but Mosi has been waiting. For this, he does not fight with rage. He fights with purpose. When the dust settles, the younger lies on the ground, panting, bruised, and beaten but alive. Mosi does not kill him. He turns his back, signaling the fight is over. Dominance is now unquestioned. The others accept it. In the lion world, leadership is not a choice. It is a condition earned in blood, maintained in silence. Mosi walks ahead alone for a moment, the wind rustling his mane. Behind him, the others fall into line. Even his brother, limping now, pride wounded, follows. In the distance, the silhouette of a new land rises. They are no longer exiles. They are kings in waiting. The bond between brothers remains, but it has changed forever. No longer equals. No longer innocent. Brothers in blood. Rivals in spirit, and ahead somewhere beyond the horizon waits the cost of the crown. The wind arrives first, sharp and dry, carrying a scent that turns lion heads. It slithers through the tall grasses like a whisper of danger, brushing across sun-scorched earth and the cracking bones of forgotten kills. The savanna stiffens. Birds take to the sky. Silence, thick and unnatural, presses down on the land. Change is coming, not as thunder, but as footsteps, in a quiet corner of their reclaimed range. Mosi and his coalition rest beneath the shadow of a fallen tree. Their manes ripple in the breeze. Scars mark their bodies like tribal paint. Wounds from hyenas, warthogs, and one another. They have survived exile. They have hunted for themselves. They have killed to live. Now at the edge of adulthood, they seek more than survival. They seek a kingdom. Mosi is different now. Bigger, broader, his mane fuller and darker. He no longer moves like a cautious cub, but like a commander, shoulders rolling low with every step. His younger brother, once rebellious, walks beside him with a quiet loyalty forged in battle and grudging respect. But the road to power is not empty. It is occupied. Those who sit on the throne do not surrender it willingly. The land they now approach is ruled by two old kings, seasoned, cruel, and clever. A coalition known only by the scars they leave. For 5 years they have ruled without challenge. Their reign has brought stability, but at a cost. Every rival driven into exile. Every pride reshaped to their will. Their names are etched in the memories of lionesses and the silence of vanished males. And now, their names are fading. Age creeps into the strongest bones. Comes not as a storm, but as a slow surrender. Slower sprints, longer rests, meat left behind on the bone. One of the kings limps heavily, a paw torn in a long-forgotten fight. The other bears a gash across one eye, blinding and festering. They are still powerful, still dangerous, but weakness has a scent, and that scent now trails behind them like dust. Mosi knows this, studies from afar, days of shadowing, of watching the old king's routines, their roots, their blind spots. He does not rush. A reckless attack is suicide. But hesitation means starvation. Predators wait for no one. One dawn. The opportunity arrives. The old kings have wandered far from their pride, following a wounded zebra beyond the riverbanks. The pride, left unattended, dozes under a copy. The lionesses, exhausted, hungry, and long suppressed, sense the shift. They lift their heads at the sound of distant footfalls. Mosi and his brothers emerge from the haze like ghosts. There is no charge, no declaration. It's just presence. The lionesses rise, some stepping back, others forward. This is not an invasion. This is an audition. The oldest lioness, a survivor of many reigns, approaches Mosi. She stares long into his eyes, and then brushes past him, her flank grazing his. She does not roar. She does not resist. This is consent, or perhaps a plea. Back across the river, the old kings return to find the scent of strangers on their soil. Their pace quickens, their breath thickens. They roar. Long, deep bellows that shake the grass and ripple across the land. It is not fear. It is fury. The battle unfolds beneath the twilight sky, 2 old lions against 4 young bloods. The air trembles. The ground stains. One of Mosi's brothers is struck hard, tossed like a sack of bones. The limp-pawed king lunges at Mosi's throat, missing by inches. Claws tear into flesh. Roars become snarls. Snarls become screams. The younger brother, silent through much of the rise, now surges forward. Its attack is merciless. He takes the blind king down with a brutal precision, teeth locked behind the ear. Dragging him into the dust, Mosi turns, blood streaking his face, and sees the second king collapse under their combined weight. His reign ends not with a roar, but with a strangled cough. It is over. The dust settles. The wind stills, but the silence is not peace. It is aftermath. Victory in the lion world is rarely clean. It comes with rules, some silent, some savage. And the first is this: destroy the legacy of your enemies. The coalition scours the pride. Any cubs sired by the old kings must be found. They are not allowed to live. They are reminders, seeds of rebellion. The lionesses resist, but only in mournful cries. They know this law. They have lived it before, Moss. I watch as it unfold with a distant expression. It is not cruelty. It is currency. This is the cost of the crown. For 3 nights, the coalition does not sleep. They roar into the darkness, announcing their rule to the world. Rival males hear and retreat. Hyenas circle, but do not approach. The air is thick with dominance, but leadership is not a moment. It is a burden. The lionesses now test their new kings in different ways. They expect protection. They demand provision. Mosi must prove that he is not just a conqueror, but a guardian, a provider, a partner. The coalition must hunt with the pride, mark the boundaries, patrol at night, and when other males are heard on the southern ridge, young, reckless challengers, Mosi must respond. He does. With brutal efficiency, they catch the invaders in the morning mist. 2 ambitious subadults, testing their luck. One flees. The other is caught, pinned beneath Mosi's brother, his cries echoing across the plains. It is not a fair fight. That is the point. Power must not be questioned. The pride begins to heal. Cubs are born this time, sired by Mosi and his brothers. The lionesses groom again, without fear. The hunt succeeds more often. The roar of the coalition echoes farther each night. But deep inside Mosi, the battle never ends. He lies under the stars, watching the sky scatter its cold fire. Above him, the scent of blood never fully fades from his mane. The memories of exile, of loss, of the look in his mother's eyes when his father fell, they remain. And now he understands what his father must have felt. The pressure, the vigilance, the endless weight of being king. His younger brother walks beside him, no longer a rival, but something harder to define. Not quite loyal, not quite distant. Their bond is tempered, cooled like metal after fire. They do not speak much. They move as one. For now, and so the land is quiet. But not for long, because every crown in the wild is temporary. Every roar invites an answer, and somewhere beyond the edge of Mosi's kingdom, another coalition is forming, watching, waiting, hungry for a crown. There is a place beyond the boundaries of kingdoms where trees stand twisted by wind, where the sun blisters the soil and water holes shrink to mirrors of mud. It is a forgotten corner of the wild, and it is here, on this brutal frontier, that the broken gather. Exile in the lion world is not exile in name, it is exile in bone, in flesh, in hunger. The fallen kings, the old rulers, overthrown by Mosi and his brothers, now roam here. Their names, once spoken in warning, are now carried only by dust. Their manes are matted with dried blood. Their bodies, gaunt and stiff, move like echoes of what they once were. One limps badly, the tendons in his foreleg torn beyond repair. The other walks with a hollow gaze, one eye swollen shut, the other dulled by pain. They no longer roar. They barely eat. But they are alive. And in the wild life, however miserable, is still defiance. Their days are shaped by movement. Always moving. Never stopping. They do not hunt. They scavenge. Carcasses left behind by hyenas. Bones stripped bare by vultures. Once they ruled. Now they beg from the shadows. The limping male, once the more dominant of the two, carries a wound that festers. Infection blooms beneath the skin like fire. He stops more often now. His breath rattles when he sleeps. Even in silence, the other watches him, not with pity, but with awareness. Lions do not mourn until death is certain. Even then, some do not mourn at all. One dusk, they approach a kill site, a wildebeest carcass left by a pride far stronger than they. The scent is still fresh. So are the tracks. The risk is immense, but the hunger is worse. As they draw near, the limping male stumbles, collapses, breath wheezing. His companion stops, circles back, and then, for the first time in days, the broken lion roars. It is not a roar of dominance. It is not a claim. It is a memory, a sound born from the marrow of what he once was. Well, the wild pauses, but no answer. Comes later that night, beneath a sky blackened by clouds, the wounded king dies. He does not rise again. He does not tremble, or speak, or resist. He exhales, long, slow, final, and his body becomes part of the land. The other male, his brother not by blood but by survival, stands over him for hours. He does not groom him, does not call. Simply watches. Then he walks away. Alone now, he moves deeper into the dry country. Days blur, nights thicken. He becomes ghost and shadow, a drifting remnant of what was. But exile is not only for the fallen, far away. At the edge of Mosi's expanding territory, a new coalition is born. 3 young males, barely adults, roam in restless silence. They were once cubs from a pride dissolved by war. They were chased off by invaders, scattered like seeds across the dust. Now, hunger and ambition bring them together. They are not brothers, but in exile, even strangers bleed together. Their leader, a dark-maned male named Kale, is fire in lion form.
Ow.
Reckless, daring, already scarred. He does not wait.
Ow.
He does not ask. He moves like the world owes him blood. His 2 companions follow, not because they trust him, but because they believe in his rage. They are what Mosi once was, young, hungry, invisible, and they are watching. They trail Mosi's territory by night, testing the edges. They mark trees. They roar into the dark. Each gesture is a question, a challenge, a whisper of war to come, but they are not ready, not yet, and so they turn to the hinterlands, carving space for themselves in a patch of savanna filled with buffalo herds, jackal dens, and wandering cheetahs. It is not easy land, but it is open. It is theirs for now. One day they encounter a lone lion, the surviving old king. He is skin over bones, his breath shallow, yet his eyes somehow still carry fire. Kale does not attack. He circles. Curious, the old lion does not retreat, stands tall, trembling but defiant. In that moment, Kale sees something he does not understand. Dignity without power, pride without teeth, reminder that even kings can die standing. He lets the old lion pass. In exile, there are no victories, only lessons. As the dry season deepens, so does the hunger. Across the plains, prey becomes scarce. Buffalo grow desperate. Antelope vanish into the forests. Even hyenas fight among themselves for scraps. For the exiles, the lone, the broken, the unclaimed, this is a time of reckoning. Some fall. Young male, struck by a warthog's tusk, dies alone in the grass. Another, bitten by a black mamba, near a riverbed, collapses within hours. But those who survive emerge sharper, leaner, meaner. Kale and his coalition now hunt as one. They bring down a zebra after 3 failed attempts. They chase hyenas off a kill. They steal from vultures. They roar louder now, not in triumph, but in warning. Mosi hears them. He does not react at first. His territory is vast, his pride healthy. But he knows the pattern. He once walked it. The path of exile ends only one of 2 ways, in death or in return. One evening, under the veil of a slow-moving storm, Mosi walks the border of his kingdom. His mane is darker than ever, his chest broader. He is in his prime. But he moves with the knowledge that time does not slow, that every crown invites a challenge. He stops beside a tree. The bark is freshly torn. Urine stains mark territory. Roar marks ring like thunder in the distance. He closes his eyes. He remembers his own rise. The exile. the hunger. The blood, now others come for him. Back in the dry country, Kale stands atop a termite mound. His eyes scan the horizon and settle on a distant copy where Lioness's son themselves. He does not smile. Lions do not smile, but he knows. Time is near. He has endured exile. He has earned rage. Now he wants something more. Legacy.